Welcome to Pario magazine, where I chat with individuals who have a desire to create. Today, I'm joined by filmmakers who specialize in horror, and they have also co-founded a new horror film festival in LA. Welcome to Pario magazine, Tristan and Gavin Winchester.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
My pleasure. So we're here today to chat about the journey through the world of horror and filmmaking and the creation of Frights LA. Before we dive into all of that, though, do you want to give our audience a little intro as to who you each are away from horror films?
Yeah, yes. Absolutely. So, I'm Tristan Winchester. I grew up in the state of Maine with my brother. You know, our whole family still lives in Maine. We moved about a year and a half ago to Los Angeles to pursue the whole film industry, film endeavor. You know, we've been doing film together since we were like really young, making comedy sketches, and we both had like our own YouTube channels. Yeah, small YouTube channels. We also finish each other's sentences a lot. Yep. So, you know, you'll probably
we're brothers. A lot of people say we look alike. We're twins, but you know,
exactly. We're definitely not. He's the one with the facial hair. I'm not. Yes. I look better as a pretty boy. So,
but we do have similar things in terms of how we got out here.
Yeah.
Okay. So like growing up in Maine, is that what influenced the horror love as well? Like there's a lot of horror set in that area.
You want to go?
Yeah, I would say definitely part of it is the horror of Maine because, as you know, many know Stephen King has lived there right now. I don't know, but so Maine is already a hotspot for horror in that aspect. I would say another huge inspiration for my brother and I would be The Walking Dead because we've always wanted to replicate and create a zombie film in our own way. And
yeah,
I would say trying to complete one of those is what led us into wanting to continue to make different types of horror films within the genre.
Yeah, so honestly, like the state of Maine kind of inspired all of that because The Walking Dead was just rural landscape and like the woodsy feel with that, like honestly made us want to create these dark, dreary projects because we started with comedy. So, you know, as we lived in Maine and as we got older, these ideas started flooding us. Where we're like, you know, why do comedy and why stick to comedy when we're in such a vast landscape of horror, basically, where the opportunities are endless. So yeah, I'd say like living in Maine definitely brought that side of us out, which I'm very grateful for. It was a beautiful place to live.
And I guess like comedy, horror, like they are very strong emotions just on opposite ends of the spectrum. So I guess if you have that comedy background, it's easy to kind of flip that and create scary stuff on the other side.
100%.
I'd say Peele, for example.
Yeah, Jordan Peele. I'd say like honestly that my brother and I, our humor, we have like extremely dark humor, and that's kind of just like our dynamic that we have. Like we laugh at fear, we laugh in the face of fear, and I think that's what's so helpful for us to make our horror films because we make it like a fun, funny experience for the crew.
And I guess also with Night Frights, the first movie you've announced is Killer Clowns from Outer Space, which my fiance absolutely loves. So like to see that one pop up, I was like, she's gonna love this.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I'd say like Killer Clowns from Outer Space is definitely obviously one of the biggest classic films there ever has been, and you know, it's been around for so long, and we wanted to you know, just get the licensing, and so we could get the film you know, just out there, and also just have something a little bit bigger, you know, aside from like the indie films that we're going to have.
Right.
It's just better to get that cult audience in there, and you know, we're gonna have the composer as well, you know, signing autographs and doing a Q&A for us for the VIPs, and yeah, just something additional that we figure we bring to the table.
And it kind of it blends the comedy horror aspect as well. So I guess that was like an obvious choice for you guys.
Yeah. That's definitely one of the inspirations.
Yeah,
we're a big classic horror fan, so you know we gotta pay homage.
Yeah, for sure.
And how special was it to also get the composer John Massari to come along and participate in the festival?
It honestly it wasn't even our idea at first, actually. Like doing this with HorrorCon has brought immense opportunities for us. Like I know that John Massari has been at HorrorCon many years, and I mean they've only been operating for 4 years, but he's been there, and Killer Clowns from Outer Space has been like a big subject at HorrorCon as well. So it kind of just happened that way. Like HorrorCon brought us the idea, and we're forever grateful for them. They're sponsoring our festival, and we wouldn't be able to do anything without them. So honestly, big shout out to HorrorCon and big shout out to that whole convention.
And then, so if we go all the way back to the passion for film and filmmaking, what are some of the favorite horror films?
Whew. Let's see. You want to go first, or you want me to go?
Ooh,
I got some.
you can go first.
I'll go first. So there's obviously the classics, and then there's the new age horror. I really, really, really like cult-based horror. I think it's really, really cool, and it brings that sense of realness to it compared to like your average slasher or whatever. So honestly, Midsummer is one of my favorite horror films of all time. I think it's so beautifully created, and I think Ari Aster has the most powerful brain when it comes to direction and horror as well. That's probably why I love Beau is Afraid so much, and his earlier work like Strange Things About the Johnsons. Like those types of movies and shorts have really enticed me to want to be who I am in the horror space. But Midsummer for sure. Friday the 13th. I love the campy slasher horror vibes. I think that was the coolest thing. So just campy slasher stuff like that. And like a cult like Midsummer. We just saw Opus in theaters, amazing movie. I loved it. Yeah, I mean, I just have a ton. It's kind of hard to choose like specifics.
Yeah. For me, I will say for 2024, one of my favorite horror films has to be Nosferatu. That one, I just love the vibe of that. I love the set design. I loved everything about it. I love Bill Skarsgård, Lily Rose Depp. I think they all did a phenomenal job, and that one probably stuck with me the most for 2024. I kind of like Robert Eggers with his types of style, The Witch, those types of films. So that's kind of, for me, what I would choose. And then probably Friday the 13th, like he said too, for like the campy horror as well. I just love that type of slasher vibe. Like it's, who doesn't? And then I would also say Scream too.
That's it. Yeah, Scream is a classic too, man.
Yep.
I like your.
Very nice. It's my shirt.
Yeah,
I have a bunch of Clover shirts.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
Yeah, that's awesome. Even like The Shining. Like The Shining is probably one of my all-time favorite classics too. I just Jack Nicholson in that whole entire movie, the tension that you feel throughout the entire picture is just absolutely insane. So these are like well-known classics around the world. We know, but I'm not gonna lie. Like we just got into classic horror like in the last 3 years.
Recently, yeah. We haven't really watched as many films because we've been so busy trying to make them ourselves. So we've been trying to catch up on our homework in that sense.
We have.
Very nice. Yeah, I was recently in Orlando and there was a horror store, and I think I got this shirt, I got a Hereditary one and an Exorcist one, and there was about half a dozen other ones that I wanted to buy. I was like, that's probably too many.
Yeah. Hey, you never have enough.
And you mentioned sort of some influences there. Who have been the biggest influences, and how have those influences and horror loves evolved over the years?
Like horror influencers, you mean? Like horror influences, like on us? Oh man, like I said before, like Ari Aster, honestly, one of the biggest horror influencers ever for me. I think like just his overall direction style has been absolutely insane. It's something that I've always wanted to embody myself, just the way he makes these films. Ty West also, I remember watching his early work. I forgot what the film was called, but it was the one. It was like that shootout.
His very beginning, one of his very first films.
He's always been so good at conveying and portraying gore, and very talented makeup artist as well, which he doesn't get enough credit for. I think his blood and guts and gore is amazing, and I love like how you can kind of make those types of things look so real without them being real at all. So yeah, two like huge influences for me, and then skewing away completely from horror. Honestly, my brother and I grew up on YouTube. That was like kind of just the hub. We didn't grow up on movies because we weren't allowed to watch horror movies when we were like super young. We tried to sneak things like Wolf Creek and Mama, but other than that, like we watched Smosh. We watched Smosh all day, every day, and iCarly. And those influences for us for creation of content, for creation of film, and then The Walking Dead. Like those influences, I know they're not people, but those shows and times that we had as kids really shaped the way that we grew together.
And Gavin, did you have any as well?
Yeah, I would say Ty West, Robert Eggers, like I said. Those are all ones that for sure like influenced me.
Mm-hmm. It's always like because The Witch, we love The Witch, which is a good movie, and like the whole entire like, there's all these directors that because they're all kind of new age. I mean, like we of course like Scorsese, and I love Tarantino, but when I'm trying to think of the vibe that we want to portray, with our production company, I'd say like in what influences our production company, it's the goth. It's horror. Yeah, it's like the gothic.
Robert Eggers, Ari Aster, Ty West.
Yeah,
like the ones that are like carrying horror in a sense right now.
Yeah, and then Alfred Hitchcock as well is also one of our favorites as well.
Yep, the more like grounded in reality, not so much the crazy over the top horror.
100%.
And like I mentioned, you are creating movies with your own film studio, but also venturing into this world of film festivals. How have all of those experiences helped with the festival and getting the festival up and running?
Yeah, that's a good question. We didn't really anticipate to have a film festival when we first moved out here. I think we were really trying to figure out like who we were, what we're doing out here in LA in the first place. And it kind of all just clicked after we realized that we couldn't fund our first feature film in 6 months. As soon as we moved out here, we figured, why don't we open something that we can offer other filmmakers, because not only is it a great way to collaborate, it's a great way to network, and it's a great way to connect with industry professionals, industry insiders, and I think it goes hand in hand with our feature films where we make something of a community when it comes to the horror community, and we try to make it as good as possible with as much relations to community as possible, and we build that up, and maybe some opportunities come our way because of that, maybe they don't, but that was definitely like a good tie-in for us. And we are just such people that we love to be able to create. We love other people. We love to be able to give other people opportunities, and we love putting others on a pedestal, more so before ourselves even.
Yeah, one of the first few things we did when we came out here is we attended film festivals, just because that's the scene we want to get into, and we found that we really enjoy the community base, especially with the horror niche, because that's such a tight-knit community of people. We really wanted to bring it in and create our own in a way, and just build a huge community of people that love horror films, love indie films, and we can all get together, we can all network and just like celebrate each other's phenomenal creative work.
Yes, phenomenal.
So be there.
Yes.
September 20th.
Yes.
Night Frights.
And you're providing a platform to sort of some up and coming films as well, but will you have a film of your own to showcase at the festival as well?
We were going to at the beginning, not this year. Next year for sure. Next year for sure is going to be our feature film, The Face. We have a lot of behind the scenes going with that right now. A lot that we can't talk about just yet, but I do know that by next year, by the film festival, will be the premiere of that film. And we are very, very excited. We're going to make sure we do it, last though, just so we can get like all the other filmmakers first. And then if they want to stay for our film, they can stay for our film. But yeah, Night Frights hopefully will stay our home for our premieres, as well. But we'll always have them at the end. Obviously we'll do some other showings at like the Chinese Theater, or wherever to have red carpets. But to do like a first look showcase will always be at Night Frights.
Have you been sort of surprised by how much work goes into organizing a film festival?
Oh, don't even get me started.
Well, in the past, before we moved out here, we held a screening for our first, I guess you could call it, feature film that we did, Apocalypse Unknown. And we rented out a theater called Smitty's. And we had a few, like 70 people show up,
Back in
tickets. It was very simple in a sense. At the time, it was hard because we've never done something like that.
Yeah.
But coming to LA and doing a film festival, is a whole different ball.
Especially when you're in partnership with a really well-known horror convention and a lot of people that you can't let down. You know, we have a lot of horror brands and a lot of personalities and influencers that we're trying to keep happy, and more so than that, the actual filmmakers that are going to be attending the event.
Yeah.
So yeah, we definitely overstepped, I think, with the amount of work that we have, that we have to do, but it's very, very rewarding when it's all said and done. And honestly, like, I wouldn't want any other way, because, I like doing stuff. I like keeping myself busy, and why not try to just make the horror community better?
Yeah.
Add
some more spice.
That's the kind of the ethos of Hollywood too. Go big or go home.
Yeah, right? Sure. Like, go big or go home. Because at the end of the day, like, we came out here just to pursue film production, but it turns out that there's a lot more that my brother and I can offer. And honestly, if we can involve as many people as possible, our whole mission is to revitalize horror in Los Angeles, and not even in Los Angeles, but dare I say the world.
Yeah. That's our mission.
Yeah. So
then for our audience here in Australia, they may not have heard of Night Frights. What exactly is the festival? What's it all about, and who is it designed for?
Sure. Yeah. So Night Frights is just designed for the indie horror fan, the indie horror creator, the indie horror filmmaker, but not, more so than indie, professional horror as well, mainstream media, everything. We want Night Frights to be the place, the home for horror in the next decade. And, we plan to showcase a bunch of different films. We have a short film block, panels, additional short film blocks, feature film debuts. I mean, really anything. We have custom pins, badges, lanyards. We're trying to make it a true experience. Mm-hmm. I know that for our step and repeat backdrop, we'll have tarantulas that people can take pictures with and put on their body, and just offer a little bit more depth to the festival, where a lot of festivals that we came out to see don't really have much depth at all.
Yeah, it's easy to see some are either cash grabs, or just they don't offer as many perks as one filmmaker might hope for as when entering a film. They take a lot of time to make their films, so the goal for them is when they enter it, they get something out of it, not just selection or not selection.
Yeah, it's more than just like a series of screenings. You have those panels so that if a filmmaker gets into the festival and then comes out to LA for it, they can also learn something while they're there as well.
Yeah, 100%. Like, I know, I'm not sure if I'm able to say this now, but I'll say, like, as one of the perks that we're offering our winners is a masterclass from Cannes Film Festival writers that had won the festival in specific years. So, and that's free. So offering like a masterclass of that prestige, we're hoping they get some sort of value out of that. We're offering free burgers from For the Win Burgers out here in LA, so they can get a free meal, and the option to have their very own Night Fright Spider trophy. So and certificate. So we're trying to do a lot for the filmmaker, because we know how hard it is to make a film. We've struggled so much as brothers just trying to do a short film together when we were not very blessed with crew or cast or what have you. We were always trying to be very resourceful, and so we know how difficult it is to pull off something like a film. It doesn't matter if it's a short film or a feature film. It's hard work. It's tough work. People don't get enough recognition.
And especially in that modern Hollywood, where it's very hard to kind of get some funding for something original as well. So it's good that you're giving these opportunities as well.
It is. Yeah. There's too many remakes nowadays, sequels. The fans want something new. They want something else they can cling on to and be scared at night. Mm-hmm. And so that's what we're trying to do.
Mm-hmm. We will do.
And it sounds like the festival has kind of maybe taken some inspiration from things like Comic-Con, where it's, like we said, more than just screenings. It's about building that community. Is that sort of something you looked at for guidance?
Yeah, well, we actually didn't look at Comic-Con. We actually looked right at HorrorCon, who we're partnering with in a way. HorrorCon has a bunch of that kind of stuff. They're actually doing their very own trailer festival this year for film trailers. And so they're adapting to the film scene. So we figured, why don't we adapt into the convention scene a little bit? We take inspiration from a lot of ideas from Midsummer Scream in July and Monsterpalooza.
Mm-hmm.
At some point in time, we do want to just have our own event though, like its own feel. And I think we'll definitely be successful in doing that when we can, have our own, theater like Chinese theaters, or have our own convention center to have a ton of space to, have escape rooms from our feature films and
mazes like Not Scary Farms.
There you go. Yeah,
because Not Scary Farm is also a place we look at as inspiration. We love their horror atmosphere, their mazes, all that. And one day we will have an amusement park like that with our film festival. It'll all be a web.
Yeah.
Great. And so you've mentioned the masterclass. As we close out the conversation, was there any sort of films or anything that you wanted to announce here today?
You know what? I think we'll stick to announcing our feature film, The Face, because The Face is genuinely what we're hoping is going to turn some heads in the psychological horror space. We definitely do think that we're going to take something that people might expect to look and be corny and completely change it into something that will keep people up at night wondering why they went to watch the movie in the first place. Like, I think that's really what we want to do with The Face. And obviously for the film festival, Killer Clowns from Outer Space, it's a ride. Everyone loves that movie. If you're a cult Killer Clowns from Outer Space horror fan, I would definitely come show up to the festival and meet the composer. But yeah, all of our other films that we're screening are under wraps until July. We'll have that list for you guys in July. And just be on the lookout for everything that 2100 Films and Night Frights is doing.
Follow us on everything.
Great. Where is the best place for people to support you and track this journey moving forward?
Yeah, honestly, our Instagram is probably like where you're going to find the most information about us. Just at 2100 Films, so 2100 Films. It's just all one word. And our website, 2100films.com. And then for Night Frights, it's the same thing, just Night Frights LA.
Perfect. Alrighty. Thank you so much for taking the time, and good luck with the festival and the upcoming feature film and all of that sort of stuff.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you so much for having us. It was a blast.